Sedra, Pashas Ve'era, we read about the first 7 of the 10 Matos that Hashem brought on Paro and Mitzrayim. Surely HaKadosh Baruch Hu could easily have delivered Bnei Yisrael from the hands of Mitzrayim without such a show. What then was the purpose of the Matos? Paro had said, Mi Hashem asher eshma v'kol lo yadati es Hashem. Who is Hashem that I must obey? I don't know Hashem. In other words, Paro did not recognize Hashem, neither his existence nor less still his authority to give commands to human beings, and most certainly not to Paro, the ruler and the God of the land. The whole Sedra and half of the next describes the relentless attempt to break Paro's arrogant heart and teach him to know Hashem. We see that in these psukim. Yadu Mitzrayim Kinyan Hashem. V'zos Teidak Kinyan Hashem. L'man Teidak Yin Hashem Elokeinu. V'avur Teidak Yin Kamonim Cha'aretz. V'datem Kinyan Hashem. No less than 10 times do we find mention of knowing Hashem in the 10 Matos, corresponding to the 10 commandments given to Israel. BarMitzvah explains the purpose of the 10 Matos as follows. Paro argued with Moshe on 3 principles. Moshe assumed the existence of God, whereas Paro denied it by saying, Lo yadati es Hashem. The second principle Moshe laid down was that Hashem watches over the ways of men and gives reward and punishment accordingly, which Paro negated by asking me Hashem. Moshe's third principle was that Hashem is the God of Israel and all-powerful, able to change the nature of things according to his will. Paro denied this by mockingly saying, Mi Hashem asher eshma v'kol. In other words, what power does he possess that I must submit to his demands? It was for this that the Matos came, to confirm these 3 principles. The first 3 Matos came to prove Hashem's existence. The next 3 asserted the second principle, Hashem is watchman and leader. The third came to show that Hashem could change the nature of things at will. Let us compare the comments of Chazal and 3 Midrashim on the purpose of the first Makkah, Makkah's Dam, from Shmos Rabbah. Why were the waters first transformed into blood? Because Paro and the Egyptians worshipped the Nile. Said HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I will strike first his God, then his people. As the saying goes, strike the God, and then the priests will tremble. From Mishnah Rabbi Eliezer, why did he bring upon the plague of blood? Because they threw Bnei Yisrael into the rivers. It is written, Kala bein hayilot hayora tashlichu. Therefore, he punished them through the waters of the Nile. From Lekach Tov, because they spilt the blood of Bnei Yisrael like water, as it says in Tehillim, the canals ran blood, and the flowing water they could not drink. We see that the latter 2 Midrashim interpret the plagues as a punishment, midah keneged midah, measure for measure. Whereas the first emphasizes the educational eye-opening aspect, whereby one can see the worthlessness of idolatry, and arrive at a knowledge of the true God of Hashem. Rashi usually looks for the plain meaning of the pasuk. Accordingly, he selected the following explanation from Shmos Rabbah. L'fisha ein gesham yardim Mitzrayim, and nilus oleh umashkes aretz. Mitzrayim open l'nilus, l'ficha chilka yirasam b'achakach chilka osam. Since there is no rainfall in Egypt, but the Nile overflows and waters the land, and the Egyptians worship the Nile, he therefore plagued first their God and then themselves. In other words, Rashi's choice of explanation is determined by the psukim themselves. The pasuk, which contains Moshe's announcement to Paro of the following Makkah's Dam, both 3 Makkah's Dam, distinctly states, V'zos teidak Yeni Hashem, Yinei Anochi Maked Mater Shiradi Ala Mayim Asher Be'or Neful Dam. By this you will know that I am Hashem. Look, I will now strike the water in the Nile, and it will turn to blood. Therefore, Rashi could not explain the purpose of the plague or the punishment. He had to stress that this means was educational. Let us consider the last plague, Baruch, hail, in this Sedra. This Makkah brings upon Mitzrayim the most intense suffering yet. The warning before Makkah's Baruch differs from the others in both character and length. It is the first Makkah which makes some impact on Paro's stubbornness. This is the first time that Paro bows his head and says, This time, I am wrong, Hashem is right, and I and my people are the villains. What prompted this change of heart? Until now, nothing had succeeded in changing Paro's determination. Chazal gave this answer. Our rabbi stated, after none of the plagues did Paro assert Hashem is just, except after the hail. Why? One who seeks to attack his neighbor and overcome him will take him by surprise, kill him, and take all he possesses. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Paro, V'ata shalach ha'ezes miklecha. Send therefore now and gather your cattle. It was then that Paro was moved to assert that Hashem is just. Midas Harachim, Hashem's compassion, together with Midas Adin, his justice, had moved Paro. Thus, the purpose of the Machos was educational, to cause acknowledgement of Hashem in those who had until now refused to acknowledge him. But the end of the Sedra indicates that this lesson was of no avail. Once more, Paro's heart hardened. He had not yet grasped the real meaning of the lesson.